And we are back. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, tell the folks who powers this podcast.
Well, it's in the name, folks. The Wanna Parlay podcast obviously is brought to you by the home of the world's richest parlay, Wanna Parlay themselves. People, we're talking $2 parlays where every week guaranteed people are walking out 1,000xing their original investment, going home with $2,000. Some people going home with $1,000. Point is, a lot of people are making money. The most important announcement of this week, by the way, Wanna fans, the Wanna Parlay VIP trip contest closes this Sunday. The lead is only at 69.1 right now. One Mr. The Rig Team is the guy's name leading it right now. People, this is a trip of a lifetime. It's box seats to Arrowhead. It's all expenses paid trip for two, and $2 gets you the chance to play for that bad boy. If your name's not the Rig Team right now, I would seriously be getting all over that thing. And if your name is the Rig Team, buddy, I would not feel safe at all at 69.19. Someone's going to come snag that from you late in the week. I would go get some insurance bets out there. And then if I can indulge myself a second, just for the Wanna Parlay people, I got to do one player spotlight of the week. Ain't easy being cheesy. One of my favorite guys on the page. This guy, Lance, has been on the page since the beta days, since the free play days. This guy has been hanging around the rim with absolutely nothing to show for it. Go to his board. For a while, he couldn't get a parlay to hit. Then he started clipping out some like 76 places, some 50 guys, enough to pat yourself on the back and keep coming back for more, but certainly not anything to be proud of. And all of a sudden, he finds himself in the top 10 this week. It goes to show you, if it's not hitting early, just keep plugging away. You're going to find yourself high on this board. Cheesy, you're a gosh darn inspiration, pal. Keep showing us the way.
Shout out Cheesy. I mean, he's a day one OG. I mean, it's tough. When you're on that dry spell, you want to give up. You want nothing to do with it. You just want to give up sports betting. But he has the heart of a lion, hung in there, and he made it on the top 10. Shout out Cheesy.
Law of averages, baby. Eventually, that ball's got to bounce back your way. You just got to hang around the casino. That deck of cards is going to heat up for you. Just let it rip.
Oh, God. All right, Jack, the NBA is officially back. All action can be found on Wanna Parlay. And the big storyline of opening night, Bronny and LeBron James. How do we feel about this, Jack?
Well, you and me are going to be just about the 5,000 people to comment on this, but it's important we get our sorry about the cussing. We get our opinion across loud and clear here. Because we just need to be able to evaluate this honestly. I'm not coming after a family here. I'm coming after a guy that was drafted late in the second round. And let's just go through the measurables really quick, okay? He's a 6'1" combo guard. He's not a strong enough ball handler to play point. He averaged 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists for a college basketball team that didn't make March Madness. I am rooting for him. He seems like a sweetheart, but what are we talking about here?
Hey, Bronny's a great kid. LeBron's the GOAT. I mean, this was historic. The longevity of LeBron to play with his son is unbelievable. Now, for Bronny, remember, he comes back into that season, USC season. He died. His heart stopped. He was in cardiac arrest, and he came back and played in that season. I didn't expect him to do well. Who could you expect to do well after something like that?
Lance, let's try to walk and chew gum here, okay? Unbelievable. I'm stoked he's back and playing basketball. I want the kid to live out his dreams. I'm excited about that. But we can also sit here and say this was a reach of a draft pick, and it happens for one reason. And all of LeBron's career, the Nick Wrights and the LeBron homers like yourself have defended this guy as if he doesn't control the general manager's office, when so clearly that's what this is. He gets 3 minutes in game one. No Quincy Oliveira, or who's your boy that just signed, the three-point shooter?
Oh, are you talking about
the great press conference?
Connect? You talking about the other rookie?
No, Connect played great. I'm saying some of these other summer league standouts.
Yeah.
We had the Griffies on the court. We're trying to act like we're equating the two. It's just, let's everybody just pump the brakes. You know who would be the happiest, by the way, if we would pump the brakes on this? Is Bronny James.
That's honestly a good argument. I couldn't imagine the pressure that kid's going under, just not being an NBA talent right now. I mean, give him time. But this is an argument I heard somewhere. I can't remember where, but I think max contract players should have a clause in their contract that they have a feel-good guy on their roster. Thanasis Antetokounmpo has been on the Bucks. He's a locker room guy. They love him. That guy's a sack of potatoes. Like he's dirt. He sucks at the game of basketball. He doesn't deserve to be in the NBA. They get a guy like that. Curry and all those guys. I mean, they've had, minimum signings of players like Rudy Gay a couple years ago was on the Warriors. He had no business being in the NBA. Rudy Gay's been washed for like 10 longer than his career lasted. And it's an argument.
You're absolutely swaying me. I'll add another to that list. And I don't know that he's a feel-good guy, but just like a culture guy, Udonis Haslem.
Exactly. Udonis Haslem was done in 20. We're stretching it saying he wasn't done by 2014 when LeBron left, but he wasn't adding anything. Jared Dudley. Jared Dudley, another one. I mean, the guy's an oaf. He doesn't hoop. He doesn't like. He goes out there and if he hits a three, the team is more excited that Jared Dudley hit the three than they scored 3 points. Like it's some of these.
Jared Dudley's a Y guy. To your point, yeah, he's a YMCA guy.
I don't get me wrong. Could be, I've heard brilliant basketball mind. I don't care. You can't produce. You're a sack of potatoes out there. You're nothing. You're dirt. Like you can't play. You can't ball. Don't get me wrong. In his heyday, could he ball? Yes. I'm talking about at the end of his career. Oh, we got KG Little Joe's. Bronny is a bust. If he didn't have James as his last name, he would be playing in a pickup gym each night at a random gym. KG, I love you, but I don't love that take. Bronny, hey, Anthony Edwards in his career is 0 for 1 against Bronny.
Hey, not nothing. I mean, that's a cherry pick stat. He's just average.
I will say, when he first checked in the game, Julius Randle got switched onto him and just said, "Oh, this is barbecue chicken. Give it a little shimmy." It was so easy. It was a tough watch. But you go. What were you saying?
No, I'm with Kevin Glywood from Little Joe's in Chicago. One of my all-time favorite guys. I think he's nailed it on the head right here. But I will say, your Kostas Antetokounmpo take has swung me a little bit. You've got me back a little bit off the pendulum, where I'm leaning your side a little bit. There's a point to that. Yeah, you're not playing 15 guys a year.
No.
So what are we doing with our last 5 roster spots? If it makes LeBron at 40 feel young, fuck it, let it stay.
Exactly, and the whole team's rejuvenized. JJ Redick's coachings look great. I mean, we'll get into the Lakers at some point in time, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But the max contract guy should get a feel-good guy. You're already paying him a significant amount of money. Give him a feel-good guy.
Here's what got me up. Here's what made me petty and feel like we had to talk about this so I could just kind of drag him a little bit, is they take the photo with the Griffies on courtside before the game. And Lance, I grew up in Seattle. I'm a Seattle kid. I mean, like, I don't want to ruin my feed right here, but I'm looking at my signed photo of Ken Griffey Jr. right over there in my room right now. Okay. I love that man. And it's one of the great sport families of all time. And to put those 4 guys side by side with each other, let's just relax a second. Okay. Which, by the way, we have a nice little segment here, Lance. You want to get into it? Because I'm interested to hear, because you're long on Bronny, right? You think there's a chance he's going to be a rotational player someday?
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly do. I mean, the kid's a really good athlete. Yeah, he's undersized, but he showed in the game the 3 minutes that he played. I mean, he'll move around on defense and everything's feel. He's just got to get used to it. Will it take a couple years? Yeah, but LeBron will be there a couple more years. So it makes sense to me. But this segment we got coming up, the best sport families of all time. Now, you don't have LeBron in here. I'm just going to spoil it for everyone. You don't have LeBron and the James family in here, and that fucking hurts. That hurts, Jack. So cussing is not what we're supposed to be doing here, but it hurts. So Jack, you list off the best sports families of all time and let everyone know who you think.
Yeah, and feel free to interject at any point if you feel like I've said somebody that the James family has already passed, because there's just no world here, okay? Let's start with the guys they just posed with, the Griffies, okay? Ken Griffey Sr. played nearly 20 years in the league. He had 2 World Series titles with the Reds. He was a 3-time All-Star, almost a career 300 hitter. Okay, in his last couple days, he's in Seattle playing, and then Junior, the baseball's greatest phenom, comes along and just puts up 13 All-Star games, 10 Gold Gloves, 7 Silver Sluggers, 630 career home runs. They went back-to-back home runs in Junior's rookie season. It's the coolest thing we've ever seen in sports. Okay, those are the Griffies. James, are somewhere down here. Let me plug in the rest. Okay?
KG Little Joe's is in here. I'm sick to my stomach. That Bronny James is in a damn video game and in commercial cuts as well. When LeBron retires, Bronny will play in some China league. Learn Chinese, Bronny. That's what KG Little Joe's is letting you know right now. KG, back off. Back off. Keep going. I hated it. I'm sorry to interrupt. Keep going. Keep going.
Dude, I'm even lower than KG. I think I learned Serbian, man. Get over there. Okay. Next up, we've got the Mannings, okay? Football royalty. Archie was the second overall pick, College Football Hall of Fame. Basically a wasted career with the Saints. The only reason I bring that up, sports fans, that's why Eli ended up in New York and not going to the Chargers, if you remember that day. Archie had his experience in New Orleans. He said, it's not happening for my boy. Eli ends up being quite simply 2-0 against the Brady Belichick Patriots in the Super Bowl. A first ballot Hall of Famer in my book. I will argue that with anybody as long as the day. And obviously Peyton, the hallmark character of the three, first ballot Hall of Famer, 5-time MVP, 2-time Super Bowl winner. If Tom Brady didn't exist, this guy would undoubtedly be the GOAT in our sport.
Hey, I mean, those are super valid points. The Mannings are super high on the list. They gotta be. They gotta be in the top 3. Is this in numerical order? Are you going 1 through, like, have you ranked these, or are these just listed?
I'm ranking these.
Okay, so you have Griffies as the best. They're the best family in sports.
If Peyton threw a touchdown pass to Eli in Eli's rookie year, maybe I'm here to listen to that. There's just no replicating what the Griffies did in Seattle. There's just no doing it again.
Valid. No, okay. That's a valid point. Continue.
Next up, we've got the Williams sisters. Okay, bear with me. It's obvious. It's just so obvious. Serena, inarguably the greatest women's tennis player of all time. Venus, for people that don't remember, was also a world number 1 at one point in her career. Has 7 Grand Slams to her name, and that number would be a whole lot higher if Serena didn't just go rattle off 23 on her own. Okay, 30 Grand Slams between those two women, 23 to the greatest of all time. Those girls own tennis.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know tennis. I don't know. When it comes to tennis, I don't know ball. And maybe I don't know ball at all, but I don't know tennis. That's for damn sure. But how I've thought of tennis and the Williams sisters, Serena, LeBron, just an absolute freak of nature out there dominating the world. And then Venus is kind of like Kevin Durant, you know, the slender man that just is money. They're just monster. But LeBron has always casted a shadow for Kevin Durant, you know, being better and always 1-2. KD was never better than LeBron. Don't let anyone ever tell you that. And that's how it felt with those sisters. So I don't know how that comp really makes sense, but that's just how I've felt about the Venus and Serena comp.
There's an argument to be made that they both kind of hijacked each other's star power. If neither had the other, both would have been better individual successes. Now, you talk to them, I'm sure they would never make that trade in a million years, but it's interesting, something to think about. And they certainly belong where they do on this list, possibly even higher. There's an argument to be made. My next one up, going back to baseball, Barry and Bobby Bonds. Okay, we know who Barry Bonds is. If you don't know who Bobby Bonds is, all-time player, came up with contemporaries with Willie Mays' of the world and all these things. Willie Mays was Barry Bonds' godfather, for those that don't know that story. And they're the only 2 players in the history of Major League Baseball to have 5+ 30-30 seasons, 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases. 2 guys in the history of baseball to do it 5+ times are father and son.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a damn good stat. I mean, I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about Bobby Bonds. Bobby Bonds was just, I thought you made the name up, but oh my God. You're telling me, oh, yeah, that's good. They're money.
Now, Shohei is going to join this team in about 3 years. That'll be a sweet picture, by the way. Just Shohei hanging out with the Bonds boys.
that is pretty good. That is good.
Yeah, but we got some honorable mention. Can we agree, though, that like literally Bronny is going to have to be like at least a contributing 6-man on a championship team for the James boys to get on that list right there?
I mean, I think LeBron is the GOAT, but far and beyond. So, I mean, you already have the best basketball player of all time. And if his son is just a serviceable role player in the league, and remember, it's not done with Bronny. There's a kid named Bryce that's coming into the show, and he has a lot more NBA potential than Bronny ever did, and Bronny made it. So you know damn well Bryce is gonna make it. He's got the physical size. So the James family isn't done. So right now I'll leave him in the honorable mentions. Jack. But watch out. There's gonna be a trio in LA, and they're gonna be damn good. But yeah, with the honorable mentions, we go the Bowdens. You were telling me about this one. I was unfamiliar. These were college football coaches that literally had the Bowden Bowl, and it was Clemson versus Florida State.
Every year, the Bowden Bowl, two father-son matchup playing against each other. That's just too cool of a deal. Also, daughter Katrina Bowden, for 30 Rock fans out there, one of the great-looking girls of the mid-2000s. So the Bowdens are on fire, and they deserve our recognition.
I mean, hey, that's a damn good family, it sounds like, from our standpoint. And then the Harbaughs, of course. Like,
I mean,
they
Jim and John coached against each other in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. They literally had a Super Bowl and the lights went out. Remember that? All that chaos. Like they said Jim turned off the lights because the Ravens were running. But that's legendary. And then Jim goes on to win a national championship after losing the Super Bowl. So they got both a Super Bowl and a national championship. And they're not done. They are far from done. Another honorable mention, the Gasol brothers. I mean, that one's pretty good. Both NBA champions. Pau Gasol, great Laker, great player. Mark Gasol, great Grizzly. And then when he had his role on the Raptors, he played it well. And they're also...
I forget that he was on that Raptors team. I was going to say, when did Mark mess around and
he was a great role on that team. That Raptors team was so sneaky. But to continue with what we're talking about, the Currys, they got three NBA talents, and one of them's, making his name to be in the top 10, top 5 of all time.
Del Curry's a middle-of-the-road guy. He was a three-point contest winner, but we could argue Del Curry in today's NBA would be an absolute superstar. He was one of the original great three-point shooters when your best three-point shooter only got to take 5 to 6 a game. So a completely different game in today's world. It'd be interesting to see Del Curry. I like the Currys as the honorable mention. I think they're where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, no, I think have you seen recently, even from 7 years ago, Jack, they're taking 30 plus threes a game. The game is just changing to 3 after 3 after 3.
The Celtics just tied the NBA record, made 29 in the opening game against the Knicks.
They made 29 with 8 minutes to spare, and they just were hucking threes and couldn't find the nylon to save their fucking lives. It was unbelievable. It was so funny.
The last 8 minutes of that game looked like recess in the post-Curry era, where it used to be we're trying to do sick Allen Iverson stuff, get to the hole, and now everyone's just hucking up 45 30s. Bang! Bang! Just Mike Breening it out there.
Oh, God, so funny. Another honorable mention, the Mayweathers. Floyd Mayweather Jr. under 50-0, or maybe that's expanded more. I don't know. His fighting, Money Man. And his dad, his father, also a very good boxer. Pretty sure had 26 wins to 7 or 9 losses. Like, that's also super good. So, hey, they're a mention. And then, of course, I wanted to mention this one, the late Kobe Bryant and his father. They were both, Kobe, we know what he was. His dad was a serviceable player in the 70s, I believe. So, wanted to throw that one in there. So, there's a lot of good families in sports.
Hey, and if we're going to honor that, Gigi Bryant was on her way to UConn basketball. So, hey, RIP, go Kobe,
exactly.
Go Bryant. They belong on that list. I dig it.
And then, wait, I got one more.
Give it to me.
Last but not least, you got to mention the Neuheisels. The Neuheisels are a great family in sports. Are you kidding me? We got Rick, Rose Bowl winner as a coach and a player. And we got Jerry, who's on his way to win as a coach. He never got the chance as a player.
On a much smaller scale, just everyone sit tight with me. It's the nepotism. Let us have our moment. We work hard on this podcast. Let us pat ourselves in the back, okay? When Jerry Neuheisel wins a national championship as a young head coach in 10 years, we can circle back to this conversation and get the new Heisels to the forefront. For the time being, let's keep this a nice little secret. Let's chill on this.
Little back pocket.
A little history lesson from my lifetime. When the new Heisels get a little loud, it really starts to piss people off. People start hating us really fast. Go ask about 500,000 people in Oregon and another 5 million in Seattle. Okay, how they feel if we belong on this list or not. Okay, and then Joe Newhouse is gonna mess around and win a U.S. Open one day. Book it. His name's going on that trophy.
Absolutely, book it. I couldn't agree more. Oh, all right. So that wraps up. Or do you have anything else for the best sport families? Or
No,
best
I
families
just
in
wanted to
sports?
thank the audience for indulging us there while we get to talk sports. But now it's time to get meat and potatoes of this podcast, which is letting people know how they make some money, particularly on Wanna Parlay.
Yes, sir. We got our Thursday picks. Jack, let us know where you want to start. We got college football, we got NBA, and we got NFL on our slate.
I really am dying to know. I know you're an LA homer, but I'm dying to know your opinion on the NFL game tonight because I've got kind of an out there take.
I mean, you know what it was. You know what it always was. My pick, Rams house. LA Rams money line. We're coming back. We're starting to get a little healthy. And you know what? That's scary for the rest of the NFL because Sean McVay is still a hell of a coach. Stafford can still sling that rock. And Nakua and Cup being back, God only hopes they can stay healthy. Kyron Williams has been, tanking the workload on offense, being a monster. So kudos to him. But now we can kind of, use the run game and have that, use the space that it gives. So I love Rams money line and Vikings. They just lost. I think they're going to be on a downward spiral, Jack. I think they might lose this one and maybe even the next one. I mean, they went 5-0, got hot. They might start falling apart.
For people if it's your first time listening to us, it's important to understand that Lance and I are not smart guys, but we are creative guys. We can talk ourselves into any kind of fun narrative out there. So hear me out with this take, Lance. Okay, the Rams 2-4 start. It's the worst start the Rams have had under the McVay era. This is the lowest valued they've ever been by Vegas. This is the perfect opportunity to jump on them and make some money. Flip side. The Vikings, all logic suggests the Vikings. They've been one of the better teams in the NFL this year. They lose at the buzzer last week against the Lions. This feels like a bounce back week for them, but that's where all the public's going. You don't make money following 80% of the herd. That's not how Vegas operates. You got to get with the big dogs on the other side, and we're going to take Rams money line. By the way, you know how you can be sure of this? This line doesn't make any sense. The Rams
it really doesn't.
The Rams eke out their second win versus the Raiders, and the Vikings get beat at the buzzer to a really good Lions team, and we have a 2.5-point spread here. This line should be at minimum 6.5. The fact that it's at 2.5 and the sharp money's still on the Rams side tells you everything you need to know. This is Rams money line tonight.
Hey, it's always been Rams money line. Shout out the Rams house. I love it. Do you have any player props
on that bad boy? Well, I'd be interested in taking Puka Nacua unders because he's going to be on a snap. He's going to be on a reduced snap count.
Okay.
And so even though I'm on the Rams side and I expect Puka Nacua to be a difference maker tonight, if they're going to put up what his standards are and they're going to get anything north of 50, I like the under. I see 2-3 catches for something like 45 yards tonight from Puka Nacua.
Oh, it sounds like we got a guest here. We're bringing him in.
Who we got?
Here we go. You hear us? Oh,
trying to work.
You hear us? Oh, here we go.
How we doing?
I can't see your name, so you're gonna have to introduce yourself.
I'll be honest, I'm shocked to see you. You were not my guess as to who was going to come on right now.
I'm going to be honest. I'm a little nervous. My palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy.
Choose your name, though.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. We got you.
Okay, perfect.
So we can't see your Discord name. So you got to introduce yourself. Tell us how much you love Wanna Parlay and then get a couple picks in there.
Perfect. Okay, so I just signed up for this last night because I saw there's a trip to Kansas City. Bucks play KC, Taylor Swift's team. So I was immediately intrigued. I was born and raised in Tampa Bay, so go Bucks.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. But yeah, so my name is Bianca.
Oh, hi, Bianca. Well, welcome to the show. So do you have a pick for tonight's NFL game?
Maybe. Okay, so I'm still learning this, which I didn't realize how complicated it is. Now seeing like how much football, all the teams, and then you can do like points, you can do touchdowns, rushing yards, and receiving yards. I like don't even know how you guys like keep this much information in your brain. And
It's
it makes
gross.
sense why you forget like everything throughout the day. So Puka Nuka for the Rams and
Yep.
Ashton Jeanty Boise State. Are they playing tonight? Or is that tomorrow?
GT's
Or
tomorrow.
Saturday or Sunday?
Gene T is tomorrow.
Just keep going.
Puka Nakua is tonight. Keep going. You're
You're on the
firing.
way to some
That's
really
all. That's
high-level
as
educated
far as
taste
I've
there.
gotten. Every other team I've picked based on my favorite colors. So that's
Hey, you know,
know
what? That
what?
might be a better method than
It
what
might be
we
a good
have
strategy.
because we might think too
Yeah.
hard
I think
about it.
I do have a better strategy, but I'm not gonna
You don't want to
air
share.
that publicly because I think it could be a winner. So I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Bianca, I spent a lifetime and like multiple hours last week trying to get 5 really good picks, and I went 1 and 4. So go with the colors. It's as good as anything
Yeah, I
else.
think
you're
the
gonna do.
colors
Yeah.
are safe. I think the colors
All
are
right.
safe.
So
I
I'm
have good taste.
going to let you
Really
know.
quick, Bianca.
Oh, you got it, Jack?
Lance, really quick. Bianca, have you put in a parlay yet for the VIP contest? Do you have anything going in
Yeah, I
on
have.
parlay? Tell me
So
what
that
you
was
have.
part of my entry. I have one that's up with 7 legs, and 7 legs are also picks. If you didn't know, now you know.
Okay.
And I have Syracuse. Or wait, I think that's right.
Yeah, Syracuse plays tonight.
Syracuse plays tonight. I think I have them to win. Wait, how do I read this? Oh, okay. Never mind. I have Pittsburgh to win. I have USC
Versus Rutgers.
to win. Ohio State to win. Detroit Lions to win. And Las Vegas Raiders to win.
Raiders to beat the Chiefs, Bianca.
Uh-oh.
I sneaky love it. I mean, that's chaos. That's chaos. And I
Just to cover the spread. Just to cover
oh,
the spread.
cover the
Oh,
spread.
okay.
Hey, I like that take, Bianca. That's a great take. 9.5 is a lot of points in a divisional game. You don't know what I'm talking about, but no, that's a great pick, and I love it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have like a couple of cue cards, and I'm like, okay.
All right, I got a
So-
question for you. For the NFL game tonight, it's Vikings versus Rams. The
Mhm.
Vikings are purple, and the Rams are blue and yellow.
Okay, perfect.
That's
Okay,
all I got
Vikings
for you.
are-
What do you like?
I like the Vikings.
I'm a
Vikings are in
Rams
right
fan,
now.
so
It's
you're
a
just
cute,
breaking my heart,
That'd be a cute
Bianca.
Halloween costume for a guy. I like the colors.
You're
works.
breaking my heart. I'm a Rams fan. We all just said Rams. You came in here and said,
Rams are
give me
cute. Everyone
Vikings.
likes a pet goat, so.
Yeah. Bianca, we just spent 5 minutes saying how much this is a Rams game tonight. So if you just come in and go cold water all over us, I'll be honest.
I'm sorry.
I'm a little taken aback. No, but the pick I loved, it just surprised the hell out of me because it fades all conventional wisdom, is taking the Raiders this weekend versus the Chiefs. We have a little rule. Raiders and the Steelers, we think we've got them figured out. When they're favorites or when people think they're going to be good, they're always terrible. They'll always break your heart. When you think you're like ready to write them off and they're going to be
So that's
terrible,
the Raiders. So whenever we think they're gonna
Yep.
beat someone, they're gonna lose.
they're going to lose. But in a game
Okay, I'm
like this
locking
where
that
it's
in.
like
Let me write that down.
everybody says the Chiefs are going to blow them out, all of a sudden the Raiders are the team to bet on. So I kind of dig your Raiders play right there.
Okay, thank you.
No,
Absolutely. Thank you.
I love it. And I appreciate you joining in, giving some great picks, giving us some great logic on these picks, because it's honestly better than
Yeah,
mine. I
solid
mean,
logic.
no, it's as good as anyone's. Bianca, any last words before we bring in the next guest?
So right now, who's on this leaderboard? I didn't know you could talk trash. It's kind of fun. I really like that feature. So
You can
the
talk
rig
trash right
team,
now,
you're
too.
going down.
You could
Wherever
also
you
you
are.
could also be nice and maybe spread some positivity. But if you
I'll
just
be
want,
nice after I win. Like that.
the Jameis
I
Winston,
love
it.
eat
That'll
the
be nice.
W's.
Love it.
I eat those. I love it. I love it. I love it, Bianca. Thank you for your picks. Those were incredible. Till next time, we got to get the next guest in here, but we appreciate you.
Rooting hard,
Perfect.
PP.
Thanks,
We'll see you
guys.
at Arrowhead.
Wow, that was awesome. That was not who I expected.
No, that was I needed a sec. I had to catch my breath a sec. I was like, "Are you in the right place? Did you click on the right podcast?
Are you in the right? Did you click the wrong link? All right, bring it in the next guest.
Gal, though. I appreciate the input
and the honesty. I mean, she said she likes colors. Oh, it's Enkyman. Oh, Enkyman.
Outstanding. One of our favorites.
Enkyman. Wait, here we go.
Is he still tan from Brazil?
He's on mute, but Enkyman, yeah, he's still on his high from Brazil.
Yeah, really quick. Let me talk in Enkyman while he gets set up on the audio. Enkyman, we still got you on mute right there if you can toggle over. But this is a guy where we just got done talking to Bianca about the VIP trip experience. It's going to close this Sunday. The winners are getting 2 all expenses paid tickets to go to Sweet Tickets for the Monday night game between the Chiefs and the Bucks. We've run a contest like this before. It was for the Brazil game between the Packers and Eagles. And Enkyman himself, the guy coming into the chat as we speak, was the guy to go win that and take advantage of that. And boy, were we jealous of him. So dying to hear what he's got going this week, because I'm sure it's good stuff.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. He's gonna give me the winning ticket. I'm gonna copy it exactly because I know he's a proven winner, and I'm just gonna add one more just to beat him by that measly one more. Maybe a no overtime in one of these NFL games, just on top of it, just to get that little edge. Enkyman, you're still on mute, and while we wait, so we covered it. Oh, here we go. We can hear him. Oh, wait, turn it live. Is there any chance you could turn your phone sideways so we could get a full view of your beautiful face? Look at it. Look at it. Look at him go.
There he is.
What's
going on, fellas?
Nothing much.
Doing? It's so good to see you, brother. How's the Wanna Parlay football season been for you?
So far it was good at the very beginning in week 1, but now like sharks are coming in, and I really got to I got to step up my game. And this weekend, I'm actually going to buy one of the packages on the site, and I'm going ham because I want to go to Kansas City. And
heck yeah,
64 points is not hard to beat. It was what you guys just mentioned. You got to do some crazy stuff like overtimes and this and that. You ain't going to win it by betting somebody spread by 3 points.
No, you're
100%. And by the way, just for the audience, let me reiterate, this is the guy that knows. This is the guy that won at the buzzer on the Galaxy before he went on the Brazil trip, okay? This guy won with the last available game to be picking on. Galaxy scored 2 late goals. Lance was there live to capture the whole thing. But this is a guy, when looking at these competitions, to be listening to and trusting.
I don't know if I would go that far, but if you're looking to get lucky, do it. And I'm telling you, man, if the Wana guys treat whoever wins this contest like I was treated in Brazil, you're in for a awesome time. In Kansas City, barbecue, just good time. A box seat, like how can you go wrong in a box, dude? I mean, that's crazy.
2 seats down from Taylor Swift. You can look down there. You can get maybe eye contact, a quick thumbs up, change your life.
All right, so Enkyman, I got a question for you. We got Thursday night football tonight. It's the NFL. You know it well. You were down in Brazil seeing the first game ever in Brazil from the NFL. Who do you like tonight?
Man, I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like, I've been betting a ton on like just over-unders and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, if you look at how Survivor Leagues went at the beginning of the season, like, I don't know. I think you got to take underdogs. But what do I know?
You know what?
Who do you guys like? I don't want to steer anybody wrong. Who do you guys like?
Well, we're all over the Rams tonight for our NFL game. And the logic keeps saying Vikings, but I just think we're looking at a seriously undervalued Rams team. And honestly, here's a hot take for you. I think the NFC West is so lost right now. I don't hate a Rams future to go win the NFC, to go to the Super Bowl, do any of that stuff. I think this Rams team has been snake bit since the start of the season, and this will be the first night we see him on the get-right path. We got Puka Nacua getting healthy. We got Cooper Kupp, who was involved in trade rumors. The Rams have kind of swept that under the rug, but he's getting healthy and back. Stafford's finally healthy and going. Their defense, unhealthy early, had to play rookies, thrust them into roles they weren't ready for out of the gate. Now a couple games of experience under their belt. and you're still getting Sean McVay and Matt Stafford on an undervalued team. I like the coach. I like the quarterback. I like the home field advantage on a short week. I think the line is suggestive that Vegas agrees with us. I like foregoing the points and going Rams money line tonight.
Dude, I like that minus 130 on the, or I'm sorry, plus 130 on the money line. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I like that actually. I think that's actually a really safe bet because the AFC West is a complete train wreck. I mean, like that division is just, I don't know, man. That's, and not to mention I'm a Bears fan, so I mean, I kind of want to root against the Vikings.
Yeah,
I'm all here for it. Exactly right.
There you go.
What are you even asking questions about? You're a Bears man. You need this to go one-sided. The Vikings are 6-1. We need some losses, and the Bears are getting hot at the right time. Caleb Williams is kind of finding himself. You get the game against Jaden Daniels this week. By the way, another future bet I kind of like out there. Get back on the Caleb Williams Rookie of the Year side. If Caleb Williams goes out there and beats Jaden Daniels this week, those odds are going to flip back, and all of a sudden we're going to have a tight race with a lot of football left to play. I think Caleb Williams, if he wins this week, I mean, jump in now if you're going to do it.
So here's an interesting pick I learned when I was actually in Brazil with the Wana guys. So one of the dudes made a futures bet that I'm looking at going now, like, is he a genius or what? He bet the before the season even started, the Steelers to win the Super Bowl. And all of a sudden it's like, that could happen in theory.
I'm gonna be honest. The Jets are a measly team. They're soft. They don't want any business winning football games. So I don't know what the hell is going on over there. But you have a good point. Steelers have a legit defense. There's no question about that. And Russell Wilson in that last game, I mean, even though his receivers really made him look good, that was a lot of offense. That was 37 points.
You know what I'd love to see from the Steelers for me to really take them seriously is just a little bit of something on offense that gives them any kind of wrinkle. Because I think when you start playing good defenses, like if we saw the Steelers go play the Chiefs today, I think their offense is not getting to 10 points. I think it's going to be a sleepy day. But we can use both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. We can put fun packages in with Justin Fields and all of a sudden get this extra run game going. We can do stuff with the kid they drafted out of Memphis, the punt returner who's having a great year. We can do some Wildcat stuff. We can have some wrinkles and some stuff that you got to go prepare for and put on film, which, by the way, the AFC North is famous for. I mean, the Ravens have gone all in on the Lamar Jackson offense, and now they go everything in 13 personnel. You've got two big tight ends on the line of scrimmage. You've got Ricard in the backfield, and this is how they operate, and they're one of one in the NFL who do it that way. So they're a tough matchup week in and week out. I would love to see the Steelers offense become some version of that, where they can exploit and get their best players on the field more often, because short of that, I don't quite see it. And I do like their offensive coordinator, Arthur Blank, who came, gosh darn, I'm forgetting his name now. Came over from the Falcons head coach last year, took Ryan Tannehill to an AFC championship game. So yeah, it's not, the defense is that good, and Mike Tomlin is great at winning games he's not supposed to. So they'll go in there, likely a wild card team. Ravens look like they're going to be pretty hot the rest of the year, and all of a sudden clip off some games and be there late. And I'll tell you, there's not a team in the NFL that likes playing the Steelers because it's a nightmare having to block that pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're still a 6-point favorite, even with what I think they're starting Wilson this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which there's some I don't really understand. That's like going to the nursing home and plucking out a guy to play in like your pickleball league when you got a bunch of young college kids or something. I mean, nothing against Wilson. He's a great quarterback, always has been a great quarterback, but I don't know, man. Like all my buddies and I were talking about this the other night, and we were just like, I mean, Wilson is what Wilson is, but don't you want to develop Fields? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what your thought on that is.
I'm kind of with you. I think the worst thing that maybe happened was Russell Wilson playing really well. He didn't have one of those games in Denver that we saw on Monday night this week. And so now I think you forces your hand. You've got to kind of stick with Russell Wilson. Because I don't think that's what we're going to see week in and week out. I think the original decision to go with Russell Wilson was he matches their complementary football style of playing, where he's going to be a guy who's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to pick up some early first downs and flip the fields. No, we're going to take away the explosive plays, but it's not how we play anyway. We're going to be great on defense. We're going to shrink the game, and we're going to win the game in a phone booth. And so that, to me, is the motivation behind going with Russell Wilson, especially after Justin Fields got a little turnover happy in the later games. But still, if you're talking about competing for the Super Bowl, you got to be less one-dimensional offensively. And to me, you have the perfect answer in that, and a guy like Justin Fields. Anky, man, you'll remember because he played for the Bears for a little bit, but Cordell Stewart, formerly called Switch or X,
Yep.
because of what all he did for the Steelers back in the day. Played receiver, played H-back, played quarterback. They gave him the ball out of the backfield. I don't see why you can't go do that with Justin Fields. And honestly, if I'm Justin Fields, I know people are high on him as a quarterback. I know he didn't necessarily, I don't know that they married the offense up to him in Chicago. But does Justin Fields want to be a backup quarterback for the rest of his life, or does Justin Fields want to be Taysom Hill? Because if Justin Fields is comfortable being Taysom Hill or a better version of it, I mean, Taysom Hill's making good money, and that's a highly productive football player. I think that's a sweet career path for Justin Fields. I'd love to see the Steelers play with it.
No, that's a fact, man. Well, listen, fellas, I'm going to run, but I just wanted to hop on and say what's up. And I think this podcast is super cool, and I'm looking forward to hopefully you guys continuing on with this.
Hey, we appreciate those words. You made my day. You're a legend, Anky, man.
Nobody's better than you, dude.
Hey.
Appreciate it.
Yep. See you guys in Kansas City.
I love it.
Thanks,
That's
guys.
so good. See ya.
Easy, bud. What a good dude.
What a good guy. I was waiting for like a pick or something. He just wanted to say what's up.
Yeah, just popped in, which I appreciate. And he goes, actually, no, I just wanted to be I wanted a front row seat to your guys' action.
That's so
and
good.
I honestly, it makes me feel warm. Hey, before you put another guest on, I don't know if we have anybody, but we are officially NBA season, and that is your sport. Because I get a little long in the tooth. I get a little pretentious with this football stuff where I really think I know what I'm talking about. NBA, I don't know shit. You got to tell me what we're looking at in the NBA. What do you like on the Thursday night games tonight? Some of them are tipping here in an hour.
Yeah, so there's a couple that I'm like, I don't bet like the big lines. Like obviously I would take the Celtics over the Wizards to cover and just blow them out, but it's the NBA, everyone's good and anything can happen. But the two games that I'm interested in that I will be betting on, so the T-Wolves at Kings. I saw you have T-Wolves. I actually have Kings. I think the T-Wolves, it's going to take the month of October and a little bit of November to really get a good system and what they want to do with the basketball, because it's new pieces and all teams, when they get the new pieces, no one comes out just sprinting. I mean, back when the Big Three formed in Miami, I'm pretty sure they started 8-8 and everyone was just like, what is this? There's many other examples that I can't think of off the top of my head, but new teams, it takes a little while to build the chemistry. And then the Kings, all they did was add DeMar DeRozan. They're at home. They love to light the beam. They're one of the good home court advantage teams in the NBA. So I honestly like Kings. What do you think?
I think the Kings have mix and moving pieces too. I think they're the new era of DeMar DeRozan. And so now who do you play through? DeMar DeRozan is a bona fide scorer, but he's a guy that I guess he can wrap around off some off-ball stuff. He doesn't necessarily have to be on ball. So I guess I could see this working, but would just like to see it in practice. And then I know this for football. I don't know that it translates to basketball, but I know from week 1 to 2 in football is where teams take their biggest jump. That's where you see your biggest strides and you make your biggest improvements from week 1 to 2. One of my favorite picks every single year is to take teams that play in week 0 and to play them against teams playing for their first game in week 1. Almost always a lock of a cover right there, especially if you just blindly take them all. You're going to hit it like an 80% clip. So I don't know that that's the same in the NBA, but that's my thought, is all of a sudden the T-Wolves and New Luck get a chance to run it against the Lakers. Gobert gets bodied by Anthony Davis, which, by the way, should shock nobody. When Anthony Davis is engaged, he's an MVP player. And then, so I want less minutes for him. I want Julius Randle, and I want to see some small ball from the Wolves tonight.
Hey, I mean, that's a great call, especially because the Kings kind of built their identity on small ball with Sabonis as their 5. So it's a tough road trip to start out the season, going at Lakers, at Kings for the T-Wolves with a new roster after they just made that big trade. That's why they moved pieces and they got to figure it out. Like DiVincenzo, Randall, how does that fit with Edwards and Conley? And then Gobert, I'm not a big Gobert guy. I've never been. I don't think he should be a 4-time defensive player of the year. I think he deserves one, maybe.
I don't
Maybe.
think anyone thinks that, which is why I don't know how it happens every time. It's like it's the moment from The Office where they all vote for the guy they know isn't going to win, so that like maybe they might like or something like that. Like they're trashing their picks so they don't get on there, and all of a sudden they count it up at the end, and Rudy Gobert's won 99-1, and it's like, wait a sec though, who does he cover? And then wait a sec, a week after the vote, he's getting bodied by Luka. He's getting bodied by everybody who he's switched on to.
Yeah, you go.
I don't want to get lost in the contract. On the stream, do we still see Anky Man on the deal? Do we have to move him to the chat room?
No, I don't see Anky Man. Anky Man's gone.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay.
But yeah, going in, Rudy Gobert, don't get me wrong, like he's a premier rim protector. I'm not taking that away from him. But he can only guard the paint. When you switch him out and he's on an island guarding anyone, he's on highlight reels. He's just a highlight machine, and he's not on the right end. He's just getting crossed, step back, game time. That's not the defensive player of the year, and I'm sorry.
It's not 1995. I don't need the world-class rim protector. Okay, no. We're not walking straight onto airplanes. We live in a different world, and now it's a perimeter game. It just is what it is.
Exactly, and so getting lost in that. Regardless about that, give me the Kings. I like Kings. And then the other game I like Nuggets against the Thunder. This could be the conference champion. I'm lying. The Lakers are winning the championship, but this could be a playoff matchup. Hartenstein, their new addition, is hurt, so they won't have the makeshift twin towers that the T-Wolves used to beat the Nuggets. So Jokic will feast on Chet, and the Nuggets, after getting bounced when they didn't think they should have, obviously you play the game, but they thought they were the better team and just lost in 7. I think they're coming back on a revenge tour this year. They added Russell Westbrook. I don't know how that does for a team, but my God, the past couple of years, he's been playing incredible perimeter defense. So, and they got the pieces. Of course, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray. They lost KCP, which is a tough loss, but they have, I don't know who they're starting. I believe maybe Christian Braun, or Brown, however you say it. But I like Nuggets tonight. I think the Nuggets beat the Thunder.
I don't like Christian Braun, just for point of saying. He was my favorite under bet in the playoffs. I would just keep tagging him on. This is when Wana was in its beta, and I was still allowed to place my picks on there, and I was just hammering Christian Braun unders constantly. Just throw it on there. I'm sure he's a sweet kid, but I don't see it. I don't get it. I don't know enough about basketball, though, so in my opinion means nothing. I will say, just as a wider sports fan, the Nuggets to me feel like an auto lock, and the narrative of the season feels like Russell Westbrook's going to get his first ring.
Exactly. No, that's how it feels. That's what people think. And I think it's in Denver. Everyone knows playing in Denver is just butt cheeks because it's the elevation. Like, it's just brutal. And that's game 1. Like, no one wants to do that.
Yeah. It feels like, honestly, like a home field advantage that shouldn't exist. But if you go back through Denver sports history, it's not like Denver's been clipping off in every sport. Like the Avs, we're in the Stanley Cup this year, but haven't been good in 20 years. The Nuggets, since Alex English, haven't been, or I guess you had the Carmelo years, but even then you were getting clipped by Kobe every single season. And then the Rockies are the worst team in baseball since my entire lifetime. They're terrible. I love you. Hey, Charlie Blackmon, I love you. I appreciate the beard. You're out of the building now. I literally couldn't name another Rocky right now, and I watch baseball a lot. It's but a long way. That's just shitting on Denver just to do it. Nuggets all day, and I'd be interested to see what the futures are. I haven't looked at them, but I'm going to be looking for my entry point to get on the Nuggets. I think it's going to be oddly similar to last year, with the exception possibly of the Wolves being that kind of tricky team. I think it's going to be a Mavericks Nuggets on one side, and then it's going to be Celtics, Philly, Bucks on the other.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. The Nuggets are damn good. Jokic is the best player in the NBA. And the fact that they lost, when they lost that against the T-Wolves, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Because they would have beat the Mavericks. And they would have got, and it would have been what we want. I mean, more of what we wanted. Celtics, Nuggets, the two, super teams that are kind of just deep, but couldn't get it done. Sad life.
Yeah. Hey, but NBA, baby.
NBA
It's
is
a good
so
thing.
back. It's so good.
Know this, Lance. I lose money every year in the NBA trying to get some picks out there. So I'm going to be grabbing onto your cape and holding on for dear life. Please go make us some money. Please go make us some money.
Oh, I would do the best I can to do that. So moving on. What do we got Thursday? What's our other Thursday night? College football.
I wanted to hit our college football games tonight so that people watching I got a chance to go sneak this out on their want to parlay cards because I like both my takes tonight. I love one, like one. Okay, let me start with the one I love. Okay, you familiar with the Sun Belt Conference, particularly the East Side of the Sun Belt Conference? Does that do it for you,
Jack? You are a part of maybe 15 people that I'm gonna cuss. You're part of 15 people that give a shit about the East Sun Belt, whatever the hell, but. You know what? Enlighten me, Jack. Enlighten me.
I think you're wrong there. I think Georgia Southern Old Dominion tonight's going to shatter some viewership records. I think we're going to see kind of a heavy turnout. I really do. No, it's going to be me and nobody watching it. But I'm trying to make you people money, so follow along with me here, okay? We've got the battle of the top two teams in the Sun Belt East. Old Dominion is a quality team. I'm not here to talk shit on Old Dominion. They've gotten a little beat up against power conference opponents, but very solid against in their conference. And traditionally, the last couple of years, they played spoilers to some big teams. They're well coached. They recruit well. It's a good quality program. They're going up against Georgia Southern is the problem. This is the team that hung around with playoff-bound Boise State to start the season. This is the team that hung around, got smoked by Ole Miss, but that's their only other loss. They're coming off a big win last week, beating James Madison 28-14. James Madison's a damn good football team. Damn good football team. You go beat them 28-14, you're doing something well. I think Clay Helton has been perpetually underrated ever since getting fired from USC. Let's remember he won a Rose Bowl there with Sam Darnold in a season that looked lost for dead or lost early in the year. And an important thing for us all to remember as we head to the weekend here, we have officially crossed the midway point of the college football season. Okay, so it's at this time you have to get really specific on who you think are the real teams and who the frauds are, because we're going to start to see the cream rise to the top. And I'm here to say that Georgia Southern is certainly the sweet cream in the caramel macchiato that is the Sun Belt. They will be rising. So hammer that. Georgia Southern -1. Don't worry about them being on the road. That one's lock city. And then Pitt -5.5 for Syracuse. Honestly, it kind of feels like a stay away game, but nobody would turn into a podcast to hear me say, yeah, don't bet on it. That's no fun. So gun to my head, take a side. Take a side. Give me Pitt at home. And since I wrote that, I've actually really talked myself into this bet. I think it's going to be a little bit of a sweat. I think Kyle McCord's been playing good football as of late. Remember, he went on the road, beat UNLV in an overtime game, and had to play great football in the back half of that game. I think they'll keep it close. They'll stay in it. But this is a team that plays in a dome all year. They're going on the road to a Pitt night game that's going to be up. Undefeated Pitt team. Coach Narduzzi is kind of on a fuck everybody that is an us tour right now because the NIL and all the transfer portal, they've been one of the have-nots, not the haves. So this is a gritty bunch that thinks it's us, them versus the world. I like Pitt covering in a 7-10 type score. I put down 31-24 final score, but I think the 5.5. I like Pitt on the other side of that.
Oh, okay. So you sneaky like an under bet as well.
Oh yeah, it's an important
because I know you said 31-24, but if it's 7-10, I mean that's got to be the under.
Yeah, it's under ball tonight. I think that over under is at 61.5 or 62.5, and so obviously I've got it thrown in there at 55. Yeah, I like under ball, and right. I think it honest to God, two Northeast teams battling out right here, and both good Northeast teams. I think this is going to be a culture game, and that football in that part of the country. Just go ahead and turn on the Ravens Steelers when you get a chance. It's smash mouth. It's defense.
It's that brand of football. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got Georgia Southern -1, Pitt -5.5. Lock it, book it. Those are the locks from Jack Neuheisel, folks, on College Football Thursdays. Next up, I think it's about that time, Jack. I think it's about that time.
Woo. Set the timer. This is what we've been getting ready for. Okay. So people People that don't know, I'm going to throw out a little preface here, okay? Lance and I got sick of not being able to put our money where our mouth is. We do a lot of talking about picks, but you don't know if we're actually putting them down or not. I like to think we're fairly honest about it when we are. But just so you know, these are the ones that we stand by, that we absolutely recommend that you should go. If you follow us the entire year, you are going to make money. We are starting with $50 units just till we get our feet under us and we get a little breathing room. And then looks out Bronx, New York, because we're going to buy the Yankees when this is all said and done. That's how much money we're getting prepared to make. So as we go through, we're talking $50 units. We got 5 college picks, 5 NFL. I'm the college guy around here. Lance handles the NFL. Honest to goodness, that's because of the hard data. I like the NFL. Lance likes college, but I can't bet to save my life on Sundays. Lance, I've been better at that on Saturdays. So we've figured out our recipe, and we are cruising. So here we go. Starting with college football. First game, we got Nebraska plus 25.5 at Ohio State. Ohio State and Will Howard, just frankly, are not those guys this year. Nebraska defense is fantastic. Matt Rule will give Dylan Raiola a chance with the scheme. Ohio State wins, but not by 26-plus points. Next game, under the 51.5, Notre Dame at Navy. People, death, taxes, and Service Academy unders. Game is going to feel weird to Notre Dame, especially in a small attendance stadium there in Annapolis. This is underball the entire way. Next one, Indiana minus 6.5 versus Washington. Everyone needs to stop seeing Indiana and start seeing James Madison, Kurt Signetti, and his 13 JMU transfers who have absolutely changed the culture. That is not the Indiana of old. This is this new JMU version of Indiana. They're used to winning. They're going to beat the shit out of Washington. The team's taking the long trip east, playing at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Washington is playing at 9 a.m. their time. This is Indiana all day, minus 6.5. Next one, BYU plus 2 at UCF. BYU survived the scare last week. That's not a trend. That was their down game they were supposed to lose, and they pulled it off anyway. So now they're going to return to form against a perpetually disappointing UCF team who still has not earned their way in their Big 12 conference, and they're halfway through year 2. I keep hearing about UCF is going to be a contender in this thing, and they keep losing to their conference rivals. I don't understand it. I don't get the line. I'm hammering BYU on that bad boy. And then amongst my favorite ones on here, LSU money line at Texas A&M. I respect Kyle Field. I get it. But LSU is hot. Nussmeier is the guy. And Texas A&M has not had an impressive win on the season, in my opinion. It's a classic SEC paradox. All the teams begin the season highly ranked. So all of a sudden you're world beaters. But in the words of Shania Twain, Lance, so you beat Missouri? That don't impress me much.
Because they just beat the shit out of Missouri. So that I get what you're. Missouri's kind of was on fraud watch, and now they're in their role in the college football, and like they're irrelevant. They're back to being irrelevant.
Exactly right. Missouri had an overachieving year last year. We like Coach Drinkwitz. They start because they banged up their non-conference. Congratulations, you beat Boston College and Memphis. Who cares?
And didn't they sneak by Boston College like just barely?
They beat them comfortably, but they didn't. Boston College was up in that game. They ended up winning by 10, but Boston College covered in that game. We had them. That's
okay. That's what it was. That's what it was. Well, Jack, God damn it, I love the picks. I think those were great. I love every single one, especially the Service Academy under. I mean, life, death, taxes.
And people are going to look up box scores this year, and they're going to see Navy's offense has been outstanding, as has Army's, by the way. So it's a little bit, they're not as traditional triple option as they've been, but they are still, let's take all the clock out of it. Let's go for it on fourth downs. Let's snap it with under 5 seconds left on the play clock. This game is going to go by extremely quickly. And just go back and watch the Notre Dame game against Northern Illinois. Very similar kind of matchup right here. And that game, both teams stayed in the teens. We're getting 51.5. I'd like to go back and look on record when Navy or Army got an over-under set that high. So maybe Vegas knows something I don't, but death taxes, Service Academy unders. Trust the trends. Don't go with the new fads.
That's so good. All right. Those were the Saturday picks. Those are locked in. Those will be listed on the Discord. So if anyone forgets, they will be somewhere so you can find them. All right, I'm NFL. Here we go. Packers -4 at Jacksonville. Packers are better. I'm saying it again. I know Jacksonville's won their last 2, but I don't care. Bengals -3 versus Eagles. Bengals are at home. Burrow in that offense looks electric. And the return of Higgins and the shift to touches at running back. I'm looking for a late game sell by Hurts. Give me the Bengals. Raiders plus 9.5 versus Chiefs. Raiders as heavy dogs tend to cover. Divisional matchup. It's sneaky. Bills -3 at Seahawks. Bills look like one of the best teams in football this year, a large part due to Josh Allen. And the Seahawks defenses look spotty all year. Give me the Bills -3. Saints +7 at Chargers. Chargers will win, but they don't play a brand of football that makes me believe that they'll blow the Saints out. And the Saints have lost 5 straight with the veterans in their locker room. So I think this game stays close, and I think they cover the +7. Boom, there's Sunday. Bucket.
Hammer time. I'm going to go one by one here because I love everything you just said. I love everything you just said. First of all, Jacksonville, congratulations on going 2-0 in London against bad teams. Congrats that your owner also owns Manchester United. And so you guys get to do the 2-week journey over there and basically guarantee yourself at least one of those wins because you guys are the only ones that stay in London for the whole week. So way to go. Thank you for getting us the extra points in Vegas's eyes. We will take the -4. Lance, genius call. Packers all day. Bengals -3 versus Eagles. I just trust that the Bengals are going to get right. I'm with you. Eagles just played a great game. A.J. Brown got going. Saquon Barkley, we saw the moment. He was 13 yards under his career high. But that was the comeback game against the Giants, and the Giants were coming off the emotional win against the Seahawks. I'm not going to read too much into it. I think the Bengals are heating up, and they're going to get right at the right time, and that being now. Love the Bengals -3. Raiders +9.5. All I'm going to say is homegirl Bianca had it right. That's all I'm going to say there. We got to follow Bianca and trust her blindly. I like the Raiders +9.5. Bills -3 at Seahawks. Seahawks home field advantage. Seattle fans, I'm talking to you now. The 12th man has been quiet, has been sleepy this year. The Seahawks have not been the home team I expect to see. You just got beat by the Giants last time at home. And you got the Bills who all of a sudden really feel like they've figured out their personality. They had kind of the kooky game against the Texans where they lose it late. They had opportunities. They blow the clock drive in their own end zone, end up losing the coin toss in overtime. But yeah, Bills -3. Amari Cooper, one more week in the offense, a little bit more comfortable. Love everything that's going to happen there. Saints +7 at Chargers. That one is interesting. That one's interesting.
They've lost 5 straight, Jack. They're gonna have fight. That's the argument. I'm not saying they're gonna win the game, and the Chargers have no receivers. I've watched these Chargers games. Their receivers.
You know what
it's just they can't get it done.
You know what I do like about that is the Chargers just are not going to be in the business of blowing out anybody this year. It's not the way they want to play football. They want to play great defense. They want to run the ball and control the clock, and they don't want to get Justin Herbert nicked up again. So that ball is going to be getting out of his hand fast. So what the heck? Why can't the Saints keep it close? 7's a lot for that Chargers team. I agree. I wouldn't be betting -7 for the Chargers at all. If you're on the right side of that, it's just one of those games where I go, God, are we really betting on the Saints?
No, I mean, I thought the same thing. I looked at it and I was like, oh, do I really want to do this? But hey, we're here. Saints +7. Give me money.
Fantastic. Well, that pretty much brings us to the end right there, doesn't it, Lance? You got anything else?
It sure does. And I got nothing else. No, sir.
Well, special thanks to Bianca and Anki Man coming on today. By the way, Wanna Parlay, we talked to the higher-ups over there. We got a pretty sweet deal. So they're going to be getting some free play for their participation in today's podcast. So future reference to the fan base out there. Don't be so shy. Show your face. Come, join us. Be with us. We're fun. Look at Lance and I. We're a couple of idiots.
Yeah, we're nice
guys.
Least
intimidating guys in the world. So yeah, please keep coming and watching. And when you get the chance, please come on and talk and share your picks. Talk about your Wanna Parlays. We'd love to agree with you. We'd love to talk a little trash to you. So we'll have a blast. But important to remember, as always, this program is brought to you by Wanna Parlay. People, we talked about it with Bianca. We talked about it at the top of the podcast. The VIP contest closes this Sunday. Do not be an idiot. Be the guy at Arrowhead on November 4th rubbing elbows with Taylor Swift. It costs you $2 for the chance. What are you doing with $2? For God's sakes, with the inflation rate today, this economy, you're worried about $2? Come on.
It's too good of a deal.
And then, as always, going this week, we've got the main event pumping. That leaderboard's going off right now. But go ahead and read the comments. People are starting to figure out. You place a high volume of bets, you're making your money back. We also now, this week, started to feature the dailies. Pick 3, pick 4, pick 5, pick 6, pick 7. Those are pretty self-explanatory. You pick 3, or you pick 4, or you pick 5, or you pick 6, or you pick 7. So just do that. And then if you're the number one in the group over there, you're going home with sick money. Those purses are out of control as well. Go ahead and click on them. And just a reminder to everybody here, we're talking about $2 bets, okay, where you can leave with, after a week of putting that bet down, 1,000xing that investment. If anyone has another investment opportunity where I can 1,000x my money in a week and my only exposure is $2, please let me know. I'll quit all jobs and I'll do that for the rest of my life. That sounds great. This is it. This is where you should be if you're trying to make money. And so that's who sponsors us. That's who keeps our lights on. Life is good.
Love it, Jack. Love it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. That is the end of today's episode. See ya.